it's like you can't even understand why. They don't respond to stuff. It's all good. They need it.
I want to see
very
it, but
dark,
I just
very
don't like
violent.
want to see it right now.
You have to be in the right mood.
Yeah, like I need to like wait a little bit.
Yeah, I was up in Toronto for it, but
yeah.
the one time I could have seen, here goes Michael Shannon. The one time I could have saw it,
Kevin Spacey. The two people that have called me out and yelled at me.
Have those
Yes. I mean, he's Good. Season's great.
Not that I know of, so
were any of Michael's scenes reshot? Do you know if any of Michael's scenes were reshot for the remake?
I don't know, I'm sorry.
Okay.
Good. Awesome. Well, I'm working with WD.
One step out.
How are you doing today? So, congrats on the film. Tell us a little bit about your project.
Oh, I didn't know anything about it. I didn't know much about it at all. But, I think it's a very timely story. I think it's a good time to be reminded of where all this came from, where the people. It's a very timely story.
How do you think the film will impact the way people use just energy and energy?
I don't really get people. But, I can only do what I do. Tell a story and how it impacts people. That's up to them.
And what was it like working on the set of Alfonso for the film? What was this collaborating with him?
I love Alfonso. He's got a relentless mind. He leaves no stone unturned.
Okay, so I guess my first question is: were you involved in any of the new scenes for this director's cut of the film?
Actually, I'm not.
Okay.
He asked me to do a little bit of ADR, but I didn't actually shoot anything.
Now, we talked about this up in Toronto like 2 years ago, and I'm told that the makeup of the film has changed and it's more aligned with Michael's original script. Learning and like when you're dealing with these historical figures that we all learn about, that we experience just right now, experiencing what Tesla did and what Westinghouse has done and Edison. What is it that you learned from this? Because I'm sure every project you come away with something. What is it that you learned about these guys that you didn't know about?
Well, I really appreciated Westinghouse's point of view that, he definitely wanted to be successful, and he was successful, but he didn't want to do it at any price. He thought about other people, he considered other people, and he wanted to be fair to his workers, and he wanted what he created to be of benefit to society as a whole. And I find that very inspiring, uplifting.
An important story to get out, and yet there was a struggle to get this one out because it was embroiled in the center of a controversy. How does it feel to finally get it out? And do you think this new cut kind of sheds some of the old skin from Weinstein?
Well, artistically, the movie has always been Alfonso's. He's had to struggle to get his vision out there to the world. But I think this is the culmination of that struggle, and it's a very satisfying payoff for him. You know, in terms of what happened with Harvey, I just don't know. I know so little about it. You know, it's not my business.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you so much, man. Always a pleasure.
Yep. Nice to see you.
Michael, we're going to do a shot.
I knew relatively little. I knew some of the headlines about Edison's parents as an inventor. I knew next to nothing about George Westinghouse. I knew a little bit about Nikola Tesla because of what a prophet he was. If the other two were working in a decade advance, this guy was just a century ahead. And so his name had come up in current popular science project. So I started at
After he sent your sneak
slightly nervous to take on a great American icon, one who's often quoted as being the greatest American inventor of all time, the greatest number of patents, certainly. But what really staggered me was the lengths he went to try and win this war. I mean, really nasty tactics, dirty sort of studying a man, great though he was in his achievements, and he absolutely failed. And why that was, and to realise that doing that, the reason why I wanted to do that rather than just saying it's the background. And what little I found in my experience was he was apparently deaf man, he had a very humble background, he was very protective and very quick to be defensive and secure, and just it's a great morality to us to us now to realise that it is coming together. An area of fenced up lands does metaphorically and literally what we do to protect and destroy things in the process. Pretty relevant to experience.
And lastly, what was the
Film is as rock and roll as it should be. Sure. It's just the sheer excitement of what it's like to have like so low to the point that it's magical, pure, something absolutely mystical. How do you create that vision through the language, through the sparsity of storytelling?
There he is.
We chatted.
Are we good for now?
Great to see you. Congrats on the movie.
Thank you.
Hey everyone, it's another guys in this one.
Well, I just really like Denzel Westinghouse, at least as much as I was able to figure out about it. Seemed like a very benevolent actress versus who was able to amass a very successful
I'm so sensitive. I'm the
what we see today versus when this story took place and that connection?
Well, the more things change, the more they stay the same. I mean, you said it yourself. You know, it's still very relevant. Technology is never ending. Innovation is never ending. There'll always be something new. The question is it helping us or?
Actors. Benedict Cumberbatch. What makes that guy such a great actor?
You know, and Benedict shows up thoroughly prepared. You know, it's a very daunting task. Even though it's Thomas says, particularly for somebody who's not prepared.
Okay, so obviously I see this film up in Toronto back in 2017, and after that all hell breaks loose, and it looks like the film probably might not see the light of day. Gives you an opportunity to go in there and retweak it to the story that you wanted to tell. Tell me a little bit about what you did in that 2-year period.
I think we added 5 scenes, yet cut 10 minutes from the film, so that gives you an idea how rough it was when it screened a few years ago. And it's a new score. It's time with your footage to massage the performances and really bring out the themes that inspired you to make the movie to begin with. So it's a combination of that, time without all the noise and the chaos, away from all of that, to steer it back to what it was meant to be and why I fell in love with it in the first place. So it was in addition to 5 new scenes, and it really took just time to find it again. As an artist, sometimes you get lost with so many opinions, so much confusion.
Which begs the question, I saw it and I found it informative, the first cut. How did you lose it? Was it out of your hands in the cut that everybody saw up in Toronto? Is that how
I think it started to drift away from me, sure. And there's a fine line between compromise and sacrifice, and sometimes you're fooling yourself into thinking that you've won some battles, but you've actually lost your way, and it took some time in silence away from it all to find the film again. And what screened wasn't my version, and now it is, and I'm very proud to be representing the cast and the crew that took this journey with me.
We all know about these guys. We know Westinghouse, Tesla, Edison, yet we didn't really know much about their personal lives and struggles and demons. How? Tell me a little bit about why you were interested in working on a project like this, and what did you learn along the way?
I learned that there's a little bit of Edison and a little bit of Westinghouse in me, and I think in a lot of us. And sometimes that balance is one we have to keep in check, where you can't let ego and ambition take over, and have humility always be a constant in all one's choices in life. And so it was about finding that balance, and it was a movie I took to kind of examine myself in my own journey, and how much was how much was Edison, how much of Edison was in me, and how much of Westinghouse in me, and not in intellect or talent or any of that, because I have none of that, but about ego and humility. And as filmmakers, you want to make films that last the test of time, and as inventors, you want to have your solutions last as well. So there's some connection there between us as artists. So I hope that journey is one that people will identify with themselves.
Last question. The film screens. How disappointing was it? You screen this film, and then 2 weeks later, all hell breaks loose.
Yeah.
And it may not come out, and because
yeah.
it has the Weinstein tag on it.
Yeah.
How take me through that period and how you found the disappointment, got over the disappointment.
It was like stages of grief. You're in denial. You knew that you weren't ready going there, and then but in your head you may be talking yourself into only seeing the good and the battles that you won. But it was really a stage of grief in some weird way, because it was like a death. It was something that was taken from me, and something that I thought would be permanent, which was that version would define that film and me and the journey that everyone took with me. So it was very painful, and then it was surreal. when the studio collapses and you're in the middle of it, and then the uncertainty that follows is very confusing, not knowing what's going to happen with your movie. Will it be seen, and which version will be seen? So the fact that I was able to get it back and really look at the actors in their eyes and be able to tell them that I gave you my best, that means everything to me.
Brilliant. Thank you so much.
Thanks,
Real
man.
pleasure.
roles. Obviously, Benedict and Shannon, two of the best. As a director, when you're sitting back, getting to watch these guys do what they do, what's that experience like?
Well, it's a real privilege to be able to witness and have these amazing actors doing everything best, and it's a privilege to have a front row seat to their amazing performances. I love actors, I adore actors, and to be able to work with the best was the dream.
As you jump into this story, what were some of the things you didn't know that you walked out of the process?
I see where you're going,
Yeah, now you can definitely do.
You got the Bernie thing yesterday?